here at the Overwatch Invitational.
Screw you, man.
Where Jason just had habanero hot sauce and could barely get back in. Like, that is a great intro. I'm not apologizing for anything. You're the one who has to apologize to your tongue for setting it on fire.
I just imagine, you know, like I was playing NBA Jam. I mean, I said yes. He's heating up when he said that.
It's a good game. But you know what is also heating up? Chicken ranch pizza straight out of the oven. That's right.
Piping hot.
Absolutely. No, it's here, it's delivered, and it's going to be going up against the one and only LCG, where they looked good earlier today, but the question is, are they ready to have the main course?
Well,
Jason?
is it delivery or is it DiGiorno? That's what I have to ask, is EP.
It's delivery. It's much better than DiGiorno.
Oh my god, okay, now my nose is running because it was so spicy. I do have to apologize, not for the mouth being on fire. Oh my god. But for Kaiser not actually be playing at the moment, so you might come in a little bit later. ZP, how would you take away for a little bit here while my mouth cools down?
All right, so we're going to be discussing the defense here, and that is Smurf, it's not Kaiser. The Emperor's return might have been falsely advertised, but we all want to have faith. And the interesting thing about this defense here is that it is 3-tank, and it is going to be featuring Roadhog, where we've seen a lot of 3-tank with D.Va. This time, Chicken Ranch Pizza putting Sharp, usually known as a Tracer specialist, on the Roadhog. So I'm very curious to see what Sharp does here. Meanwhile, look at the offense. They're going to be keeping things pretty standard. Ruby is trolling you, not going to be coming on the Ana, much to Jason's dismay. Instead, going to be on the Moira. And what we saw last time is that Shrugger was very effective at this Junkrat pressure. We'll see if he can do so again while avoiding the hook of Sharp. But Ruby gets destroyed by Keller early on, and now look at Chicken Ranch Pizza dive in and seize the advantage.
A little unfortunate for Ruby. I don't know what he got caught out by, but if he got caught by something, as Keller's gonna have 63%. Oh my god, it's so hot still. On his ultimate. Oh yeah, but a great little start there. Great 50%. I can't ZP. I'm sorry.
All right, so Jason right now too hot to handle. So is Sharp. Hooks in Shrugger, but he's saved by a well-timed Zarya's shield. Chicken Ranch Pizza still very much in the fight, but Keller dying to Shrugger, who lobbed that over the top, and now the offense is going in. Aided by Shrugger, backed up by the Coalescence. They get 2 early kills, and Sharp actually gets saved, knocked up to the balcony when pigs fly. But unfortunately, pigs fall to the ground, and Sharp not going to be able to make too much of that. It will be first point, moving to LCG.
All right, so they capture the point. Well done by them. Keller's gonna have his Riptire, and Shrugger's gonna be pushing with his own Riptire now. Remember, we did already have LCG play one game earlier on today, so they've been a little bit warmed up from this one. And also, I'm curious to see if we're gonna have Zerg come in. Yeah, very warmed up. I wonder if we're gonna have Zerg come in though to play some Widowmaker potentially. I was told that he might be coming in just for a couple of games. I think you also need to give him the tournament experience to build some. Go on.
Well, we have the tire from Shrugger. The tire immediately sniped out by Gray with the Coalescence, and Chicken Ranch Pizza seizing the initiative, but they're hammered down. The hammer from Colonel Dunn knocks down 3, backed up by the self-destruct. LCG taking names right now as they keep moving forward through second. But for how long? Because they had to back up to the payload. They didn't kill everyone right away. Chicken Ranch Pizza, they have reinforcements coming in soon. They might be able to delay this out just a bit longer, Jason.
I was trying to say give some tournament experience, but yeah, trying to delay the setup, and they get the kill on a Volt, so they do shut down a chance for a big 6-man push, but with Sharp getting the recharge, or getting the kill, and not to mention an Earthshatter coming out of Smurf, does give them the chance to defend, and they will be able to hold on.
Spicier than the environment of Jason Kaplan's mouth. That was that defense heading there. As Chicken Ranch Pizza, they were able to delay there. That should have been a fight that went more in the way of the offense, but enough people are alive. They chained their ultimate in such a way that they bought some time, and now they have 2 options for the next fight. Bull, Graviton Surge at the ready, Keller with the Riptire, and Keller being awfully sneaky here, Jason.
Being very sneaky. That Riptire can be definitely huge to buy them a lot of time to build up another Shatter potentially, but they have 4 big ultimates. The Graviton plus the tire's gonna be all they need. Coming in from the backside, Bull's gonna hit them. The tire, will it be there?
The tire's there, but didn't do anything. That was very strange, as Tire doesn't get much done, and yet the Sound Barrier able to keep Chicken Ranch Pizza in this fight. And now here comes Tire from the offense. Shrugger's Tire moving its way in. Over the top, a little bit of parkour to the back, finds aid. And that might be enough. A 2-man advantage now is what the offense is working with, and now they can back it up with the Coalescence. Earthshatter dodged by Ruby.
Wait,
nice
what?
fade.
What? That shatter, I was looking overview, that should have hit quite a few people. I'm not sure what the hell that was blocked on, because it goes under the payload, now it goes over the payload.
I was watching Ruby's point of view, and Ruby was able to shift out of it, but yeah, it does seem like
No one got hit.
Other people should have been hit. I don't know. When you pound the ground and nothing happens, that's what happened there. As LCG able to just push the defense back, and I don't think they're going to be able to contest this, or if they do, it'll be very last moment, and no, they're just going to let it pass.
Well, they're going to back away, though. Sharp's still sticking with the Roadhog. They're still going with the quad tank setup. Makes it very hard for Chrono Dota to keep his shield up, but Chrono Dota had a fantastic game earlier on in their first match up against OWL MP because he was dominating Progi at the time on the Reinhardt v Reinhardt battle. And with that Riptire coming through, he's going to allow him to push through. And Vol, who's so charged, is looking and smelling and trying to find that Graviton Slur. I don't know why he's smelling, but he's trying to find it.
Well, he can just smell the pavement right now as Kelly's Riptire able to buy a little bit more room here for Chicken Ranch Pizza. The defense able to fully set up, but now they have to worry about the gauntlet heading for them. Nearly 6 ultimates at the ready, and the first one I look to here is Ultimate Web, who's going to be looking to land the Graviton to set up Shrugger and Mystic. There's the Graviton, and here comes the self-destruct to the back. This patented combo between Diva and Zarya gets aid early on. Can they get more? The Earth Shatter fall through from Chrono, and that is tank ultimates being used to their maximum as Chicken Ranch Pizza finding themselves on the wrong end of another.
I think Shrugger, oh my god. Jesus Christ. I think Shrugger needs to push it right now with the Riptide. He needs to look to actually lock them in spawn because they're not going to be able to finish off the map here from this one. Because you have a Graviton, you have a Shatter ready to go from the side of Chicken Ranch Pizza. So this Tire, if they can't kill it, if he can lock them in spawn, this could be so good for them.
All right, Bull, last moment chance to get a little bit delay here. Has it? Oh no, it doesn't touch the point. Chicken Ranch Pizza, where if you were to abbreviate it, the C might stand for C9. That is not an error you can make, especially when you have a Graviton in reserve. And for this team, they made that same error in a different position yesterday where they were in the throes of Route 66, and they might have been able to hold, and they weren't able to get in the objective there either. So once is a mistake, twice is a
And 3 times, shame on you, I think as the saying goes. That was...
3 times as you 3 times as you down a bottle of J-Cap's hot sauce.
Dude, my mouth is finally calming down. I had to drink some milk to eventually turn it around. But yeah, that was... I don't know, considering like the caliber of players we have on Chicken Ranch Pizza... Actually, you know what I need was some ranch dressing, or maybe some Soylent, which would have easily cleansed my palate and helped make this a little bit easier on. If you actually want to check out Soylent, look down below the video feed, and you'll see a 50% off banner. But I was actually, the caliber of players we have for Chicken Ranch Pizza, I'm surprised they didn't put up a better defense. Like, we have so many recognizable names within the team that it just kind of is astounding. It maybe is a testament to like the tier 2, tier 3 scene that's able to beat out the old pros, the old dogs like we're seeing.
Well, it is interesting, too, because we are seeing Sharp flex around a little bit more than we usually do. His best moments have come from basically being a Tracer God, and I don't doubt that he can play these other heroes, but and it could just be the nature of King's Row where you don't really want to run a Tracer as much, or teams tend to shy away from it, but I don't know. I would be fine with Sharp going back to the Tracer to open things out. He's on the 76. We'll see what he ends up going for here. Don't expect Vol to stay on the Widow. He might stay for one shot, but... overall, this offense still looking to be a 2-2-2 setup for Chicken Ranch Pizza.
I also did keep in mind that Keller used to be a hit scan player, but he switched over to projectile because Alka sees something in him that he could be a very good projectile player as well. So it kind of maybe a little bit of a growing pains for the team here. Obviously, not having that many things to play in, just only scrims, you know, not things worth of value. But here we go. Kind of recycling around the point here. We do have Chicken Ranch Pizza on the defending side of the map, but the big push and aggression out of LCG catches him off guard.
Well, Greg caught Ruby off guard, period. A nice Zen right click to open things up. Sharp's got in great position here on the top, and already 2 unanswered kills. The heart of the healing behind this defense is already gone. And Chicken Ranch Pizza looking delicious indeed as they are going to rather easily take this first point.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I still really like the way LCG played though, like catching behind him. But again, it was just a good read into it to kind of push around and kind of have this ring around the Rosie or ring around the Mugdada statue. And that's going to be a very easy take. Keller, most importantly, at 91% on his blade. That is insanely quick.
And Keller, he might be newer to projectile DPS, but he plays it very well. But I do wonder if they overplayed their hand. Nope, Keller says, still winnable, fight this. And he just gets knocked out in the pub. typical of King's Row, if nothing else. So that's going to be a reset for Chicken Ranch Pizza. And yet, Jason, they don't lose much in terms of time. They lose the resources they invested, but they weren't pushing the payload through most of that.
That blade is going to be... well, I'd still say the blade is actually a major loss. Like, I agree they're not losing too much in terms of, like, general value because the payload didn't have to push that far. But the blade is huge when there's no transcendence to stop you from killing people. And it also bought time for Ultimate Weapon to get closer to his Graviton Surge to put up a good defense after they lost the first point so quick.
All right, Sharp, great vantage point here for Attack Visor. Gonna lay it in over the top. Aid falls to the tire, but Sharp right now finds a diva in his face, gets well supported by the Transcendence, and Chicken Ranch Pizza right now starting to win the slog. But that self-destruct finds Keller. Now it's more even. The issue is for the defense, though, is that they don't have a spawn advantage. And Chrono Dota, able to get away from the self-destruct, gets a little bit of protection, but not able to drop the hammer time, and he lost the ult charge there, Jason. He's not going to have it on coming back. And this is a misuse of tank ultimates, it feels like, coming in from the team where LCG. Sorry, my brain stopped working.
It happens. My mouth stopped working, your brain stopped working. It happens. Yeah, I mean, that Graviton, I don't think was terrible, but it's been able to stall them and buy a lot of time, which is exactly what they need to do. They're actually going to be backing away from this one, so in the end, they're not going to put up a good defense or a good full hole defense. But Chrono Dota has nothing to worry about when it comes to an Earthshatter coming his way. I wonder if he's going to switch over to Winston and try to counter this dive pump, or if he's going to stick to the Reinhardt, which at Foundry phase, you would assume he's going to be sticking.
You would think. LCG right now, self-destruct at the ready, and Mystic's been very good at working the self-destruct with Gravitons. This is where he's going to have to sort of go a bit YOLO and do this on his own. It's one of the only impact ults they have. Although now they have both support ults up, so they can just push this as barrier, use the Coalescence as support, but they're going to have to work fast here, as here comes Keller with the blade. That will force out the barrier immediately, as Keller looks for something to swing the blade at. The barrier comes in late. Chicken Ranch Pizza working with a bit of an edge.
They're using everything they have. They're using every single ultimate. Both getting a great double kill with this self-destruct, which is exactly what they needed to turn this around. They invested 5 ultimates into this fight, and will finally be able to push this payload to the checkpoint after a little bit of time, but that was way too close. And I think I've kind of noticed something, by the way, here, ZP. So Smurf is not playing Reinhardt, he's playing Winston, which, I mean, hopefully I noticed that because I have eyes. But I think they're doing that. Yeah, I think so. I didn't touch my eyes after eating the hot sauce, so we're good. But I think it was a way to limit Chrono Dota's Reinhardt, to control it a little bit more. And that's a little bit weird to say and a little bit weird to think about, but because he's not going Rein v Rein, he's not allowing Chrono Dota that easy chance to build up ult percent by swinging on the Reinhardt. And one thing that we credit LCG so highly of in their last game was a use of Zarya and allowing Chrono Dota to be that big impact player.
Sugar wasn't expecting Winston there, went too deep, got picked off. 2-man advantage right now for Chicken Ranch Pizza. And Smurf is in the right place at the right time as Tesla Cannon just electrocuting the opposition here as Chicken Ranch Pizza finding the way through. And now they have a Transcendence to back up what could be a victory push. The Blade is there as well. They only have a Coalescence to actually defend this, Jason. Chicken Ranch Pizza is ready to be served. This ultimate weapon's picked off.
It's going to be served tasty, pipe, and I already effed this up. But you know what? Keller's going to come with the blade. He's not going to mess it up this time. The Transcendence going to come in, and Keller gets a double kill. We're going to see, though, Gray get ooped off the map to his death, but it doesn't matter. Keller's done the damage. Sharp is there with the visor. And Ultimate Weapon will be finished off here, and they will, in fact, do it. They will finish with a lot of time left on the board.
That might have been a faster time. I wasn't looking at the time at the very end, but either way, both times are very close, and just like the Super Bowl, neither team seemingly able to play defense, and in fact, it was a quicker time.
Yeah, not by that much, funny enough. So a pretty fast pace out of both teams, and we're gonna see it looks like LCG on the attack of having the lesser time between the two teams. I wonder if Sugar actually will like legitimately play the Widowmaker. But then again, they didn't struggle too heavily on the first point attack anyways, so.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, this is a case where do you really want to change anything up on your attack for either team where you have an objectively very, very fast time on King's Row? There was nothing wrong with the offenses. The area for adjustments would have to come from the defense, where I'm curious to see what Sharp plays here. Sharp went on the Roadhog to begin with. I don't think it's his most comfort hero, even though it wasn't necessarily his fault. I wonder if here you just see Sharp go, actually, I'm just going to Tracer. Yep, it's happening. So he sheds some pounds here, goes from Roadhog to Tracer.
On the defense, yes, not running the quad tank. I think they realized what they were doing with the Reinhardt was just not working since they got overrun. So I do like a team being willing to adapt and change strategy around, and they're gonna be playing Keller probably towards the high ground, trying to like bait them in, allow the soldier to kind of go for the retake. The problem is they don't have a shield to play with, so Shrugger is gonna get so much damage in here with the Junkrat as well as Ultimate Web.
Shrugger, though, has to watch his back right here because as they move in, look at where Sharp is. Sharp is now being the nuisance to the back, but they see that happening, and they use the hotel for cover as they rotate around onto the point. It's a smart rotation to deal with this tracer pressure. Doesn't let Sharp move in from the direction you want to move in on, and now they're going to push the issue. Moving onto the point, forcing the defense to fight them poke for poke, and Smurf is already almost out of the fight. Vol is super weakened. The tank line has to back out, and while they're doing this, you're seeing pressure being put onto the point. Smurf has fallen, and this is a tank-powered offense coming out here from LCG.
I mean, they were able to shove Keller back to. He's got a visor though, coming directly from behind. You did see Mystic try to go up against him to shove him out of the position, but he wasn't able to kill him 1v1. And with Mystic dead and desuited, Keller's gonna come with attack visor, doing some serious work. The pulse bomb will do some damage, but it won't get any kills.
And yet, Chicken Ranch Pizza has bought themselves some time there. There was a moment where it looked like they were going to lose the point early on, but the offense couldn't get the other 1 or 2 kills needed to make it happen. Chicken Ranch Pizza was able to fight it out, and now suddenly Keller is in great position over the top. Sharp can go back to his position of being a pest while flanking, and the offensive LCG having to make some tough decisions here.
What are they gonna do? I mean, they're getting close to ultimates. They have a grab and a tire, so
Tire's gonna be first issue. Yeah, here comes the Tire now. Tire rolling around the backside. Shrugger, he dies while channeling the Tire, and the Tire not able to get the kill. The sound barrier saving its intended target at the last moment, and Sharp dropping a special delivery to Ultimate Web's back.
And what's that delivery, ZP?
Chicken Ranch
Soylent.
Pizza.
Oh, crap.
Dog.
That was on purpose, though. We're good. Yeah, they're able to combat that. Now they have a Transcendence, and there's a Graviton to come at them out of Ultimate Web. I would have liked to have seen them save the Graviton with the Tire. Again, we see a lot of teams do that over the course of yesterday. Just not pairing the Tire with the Graviton Surge, but they rush straight through. They zone out Gray, but Gray has a Transcendence, so he's going to be able to get in no matter what.
And he's going to be using this Transcendence, and whoever gets caught by this Graviton of Ultimate Web, even if it is himself. LCG now pushing the issue, moving on to the point. Ultimate Web putting most of his pressure on Vol, and now he's going to drop the grab. But where's the Transcendence? There it is. Gray's going to get himself right in, but he can't heal up the self-destruct. Aid is still a victim from that combination, and yet there's still 5 members of Chicken Ranch Pizza around. They're playing the zone game here pretty well, and they're still keeping the idea of holding this alive. Unfortunately for them, though, the barrier comes in, Mystic cleans up, and this should be a cap coming in from LCG. But unlike the first time here, Jason, it took them just about every bit of time available to them.
Yeah, and they don't have ultimates to use right now. They're going to have a Blade in a second, which is actually be perfectly timed considering Gray doesn't have anything to counter it and A doesn't have a sound barrier. But Keller has his own tack visor and the pulse bomb out of Sharp. So Shrugger's going to be probably like deflecting for the majority of his Blade here if you time it correctly out of Keller. So it's not going to accomplish too much, and then ideally Keller can pick up a kill or 2 within this. And not to mention, on top of that, maybe gets him with the pulse bomb when they're all grouped up here on the payload.
Next fight should be explosive, and Shrugger almost gets picked off. That was nearly a 1-clip by Sharp. Still pressuring him, almost gets Chrono Dota for size. However, while that was going on, the front line of Chicken Ranch Pizza starts working its way in. Gray under pressure in the back. Shrugger looking for the pickoff, gets it with Ultima Web. The Blade out, not really able to do much, gets lost in the pub, had a little bit of a drink perhaps, I don't know. Almost walks into the self-destruct. Shrugger is an excellent adventure right now, not so excellent at all. But it's going to be Chrono Dota dropping the hammer, knocking down Smurf, and slowly but surely, LCG is making their way through the streets of Kings Row.
Yeah, they dragged the fight out long enough, and considering they didn't have much to use, that was really well done. Ninja Nick at 85% on his sounder. They're going to continue to push this payload here in overtime. And what does Chicken Ranch Pizza have? A Pulse Bomb coming out soon. They're going to have a Primal Rage, but how do they combat this? Ultimate Web is going to be able to be very sneaky. At them coming out of the Foundry, there's so many angles they can be attacked from. There's so many angles to watch out for a Self-Destruct or a Pulse Bomb. This is going to be so difficult for them to do.
Defense, we'll see what they have here. I would not underestimate Sharp. He's pulled miracles before. First miracle, get away from the self-destruct. Done. Gray, not so lucky. So they're down 1 to begin with. Sharp, working his way in. Pulse Bomb loaded, looking for the opportunity. Moves, sticks. Chrono Dota's out of there. That's 1. Do you have more? Smurf backing it up with the Primal Rage, moving in with the rest of Chicken Ranch Pizza, and they're actually doing a decent job here, even down Gray to start the fight. That was a big loss, but Sharp skirmishing around the edges, still looking to make it happen. Has to burn the rewind, and no, finally falls. Overtime might be getting it to the second point.
I think they're going to be able to do it here. They're not going to get much extra time allotted to them, but they could potentially finish this one off. Shrugger has another blade. Gray's going to have a Transcendence to counter it, and Aid is getting very close to another sound barrier. This is such a high-pressure situation for the team of LCG. And if they keep this momentum up, I think they very well could finish this. And Bastion even coming out of Ultimate Weapon last second.
All right, and this is where you're trying to catch the other team off guard. You're trying to eke out every little bit of extra progress you can. Gray has had enough. Opens a fight with Transcendence. It's gonna make it real rough for the Zenyatta here. Can't burst anyone down through that. Meanwhile, though, Shrugger, Dragon Blade to the backline. As it fades, finds Gray, looks for more. Countered by a blade by Keller here, who blades of his own volition into the back. It's scrappy here on the point here, Jason. 4 on 4. Chicken Ranch Pizza trying to get the better of it.
Slowly and surely, with the help of Sharp and Keller, able to finally pick up these kills. The DPS have not dropped on Chicken Ranch Pizza, and LCG have lost out on their Shrugger. Wasn't able to accomplish much with that blade. Even a Widowmaker coming out of Gray last second, trying to provide some cover. He gets to kill the Ninja Nick, and now Shrugger and Ultimate Weapon, the last two alive. Shrugger's going to have to stay near the payload, as Ultimate Weapon is now the last one alive. He has to do something about this. They're going to come in one by one, but again, it's going to be towards the defender's advantage.
The ants come marching one by one. Hurrah! As Gray is on a Widowmaker in the back of all the swap-ups you can do. Gotta admire the pressure, though, coming in from LCG. They took that from what should have been, in many respects, a first point hold, and they got all the way through second. This is still putting a lot of pressure on Chicken Ranch Pizza, where 3 minutes, that's a long way to go in 3 minutes.
Technically, they didn't even go that far in 3 minutes. They went that far in like 5 or 6, maybe even like 7 in there, because of the payload being contested and pushed in overtime. It's going to be very, I guess, difficult for the side of Chicken Ranch Pizza. But again, remember, they finished quicker than LCG did before, just in the last attacking half. So it's not impossible, but it's definitely going to be difficult.
All right, well, Jason, I'm always down for some high-octane offense, but you know what else can help you get high-octane offense? A brand new processor from AMD. Check out their website for all the new processor lines that are coming out. They will up your level of game.
I'm glad I didn't say what I was going to say.
I don't know what you're going to say there, but I was selling out for our just awesome sponsors where, you know what? You're not the only one who gets to sell out here, even though that is your designated role.
Well, actually, I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were saying, you know, Jace, for all that selling out, we're going to send you like a giant crate. No, I wish that was true, though. Anyways, so going into the next attacking half, this is only the first map, and it's only a best of 3 here in this elimination match in the loser bracket. Chronodota is going to be back on Reinhardt. We're going to see Shrugger on Roadhogs. We have triple tank set up here on the defending side of LCG, and we're only seeing a solo tank out of Chicken Ranch Pizza, going for the very old school, like, Soldier Genji Tracer.
Old school indeed. This is where if United was still playing, they would love to play this. Ultimate Up, though, gets picked off early, sets up the 65 for Chicken Ranch. Sharp, working his way to the back. Tank pressure is in, and he's not done yet. Moving to the back line, Hog in his sights. Bacon just might be for dinner, as he has a pulse bomb about to be at the ready, and no, he's decided to stop the hunt. They're getting the point. Why risk a death?
Well, you know what Chicken Ranch Pizza's missing? Bacon. Bacon makes everything better. So they're going to go for a last second contest, and they're going to rush straight through. They do have Coalescence, and the pulse bomb's going to stick. Ninja Nick's going to fall. Chronodone's going to die as well. And that last push-in is only going to net more ultimates now for Chicken Ranch Pizza.
Ninja Nick was merely a casualty of war. For Bison, it was Tuesday. He was simply going for the Reinhardt, and Lucio was the sweet, sweet bonus. Still.
Why did he blade? Why did Keller blade there? They already had 2-3 kills, and then he came with the blade. So they actually get a big ultimate out of him.
Well, let's be clear. There was no need for the blade. Sharp had already won the fight. But, hey, he bladed. It wasn't the right move. They are still working with a bit of momentum here, though, as they move in the second.
I mean, they're not in overtime, like, off the get-go, which is where LCG was fighting from. So, again, a lot of credit to LCG to get that far within overtime the entire time of the push. But they have a minute and a half remaining, so we're going to see, like, at least 2 more fights, potentially 3 coming through. But where's Ultimate Web going? So he's put on the high guard. He's going to wait for him to come around the corner. He has a pulse bomb up in just a second. But look how defensive Vol and Gray were playing. They were sitting in window, completely away from the rest of the team, just to apply that long-range artillery damage.
It's interesting. And what more interesting to me, Sharp on the back, pulse bomb, doesn't use it on Shrugger. Could have assassinated him there. Instead, throws it out haphazardly after. Not his best move. but Shrugger is going to fall from the early poke. Smurf dove in heavily off of that initial Tracer setup, but Coalescence working out well to the defense. They're pushing things back, they force out the barrier, but now off the barrier, another barrier comes in. The defense says, you can barrier, so can we. They're gonna come right back out and hit support ults for days. Gray moving out the Transcendence just when you think it's over. It's not over at all. Keller's built up a new blade, moving in, slicing his way to victory here, as he knows for sure all the support ults are out.
They have to be careful now, though, for Chicken Ranch Pizza. Yes, they still have a pulse bomb. Yes, they are getting some distance, but the enemy team has a lot of ultimates getting so close to being online, and all they need to do is win one fight now for the defending side. Yeah, you're going to get through this next checkpoint, but you don't get extra time. You're going to hit overtime, and this is going to be so, I think, difficult for Chicken Ranch Pizza to finish off.
It is going to be difficult, where you're right. They're going to get here. They don't get extra time. They have a one-fight buffer, and it's not where you want to be, but this is what happens when you give up that level of edge early on. Keller looking for the ult building on top. Unlikely he would get a blade in time.
Post bomb is eaten out of Sharp, by the way.
Oh, that is a big one. Sharp definitely could have used that there. And now, sells the truck to the back, finds Keller, takes him out. And now Smurf just trying to buy some time on the Primal Rage as a Coalescence with Ruby clears the way. Chicken Ranch Pizza perhaps bring this back. Smurf picks up 2. They drop the beat, and this is very even here, Jason.
It's not over just yet, though. We still see him trying to fight back. Ultimate Weapon trying to build another pulse bomb, but now he's just trying to stay alive here. So the DC will finally come in onto Vol, but Smurf and Sharp, the SS combo, coming up big for the team. Able to get the payload across the line here, as it's just going to be Ninja Nick, the last second contest. Will not be enough.
Wow, what a back and forth there at the end. And credit where credit is due, LCG was very close to taking this map, but Chicken Ranch Pizza able to leverage that time advantage and push things through at the very end. And Jason, just think, that's just map 1.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're going to be going to next, but it's only a best of 3s. LCG are going to be on the back foot. What are they going to choose to potentially come back into? So looking over the picks they might have gone over, I believe they did not get pick on King's Row, so they went to Lijiang Tower. No, they won King's Row, so they went to Temple of Anubis. Maybe take them to 2 CP would be a good idea for them.
I think bringing any team to 2 CP if you feel comfortable on it is a good idea, especially at this level of play where you're dealing with teams that are newer, that haven't had as much practice. Although, I do wonder at a point where that sort of reasoning is kind of old hat. I mean, many of these players here, even if they're newer to the competitive scene, have had a very long time to sort of interact with maps like Temple of Anubis. So, interact. Engage the content, Jason, is another way of putting it. So, well, Temple of Anubis is going to be the choice. So if there was a thread, a theme of logic in going to Temple, they have found it, and they're going to be bringing Chicken Ranch Pizza there. Why not enjoy your pizza in the desert?
I mean, at least it'll stay hot, right?
You would think. Unless it's nighttime, in which case it could get rather cold. So,
hey, but cold pizza's just as good, so it's a win-win for me, ZP.
You're not wrong. There's times where I go back and forth where I'll be in phases in my life where I go, no, it's better cold. And then phases where I'll go, no, I still just want to nuke this piece of pizza until it can scald my mouth again. And I never know. I designate my life phases in that. That's how I categorize my life.
Apparently I have my camera bound to a key. It just randomly turned off. That's cool. So yeah, the thing is, when you reheat pizza though, wait, do you reheat pizza first of all?
Right now, yes.
How though?
I nuke it in the microwave and pretend that it's still the same, even though I know it's not, and lying to myself. Shaking
my head, man. You gotta put it in the oven. The best way. It tastes just like the same thing. It takes a little bit more time. I understand, but the payoff's worth it.
You have to understand, my level of effort in reheating food is not high. If I'm making food, it's one thing, but reheating, not so much. You're talking to a man that, I'm sad to say, will more often microwave a pizza roll rather than putting it in the oven. So that's the type of plebeian that you were casting with.
Thinking about it though, like if you weren't mad enough to finish the pizza on the first go, you shouldn't, reward your body by saying, okay, I'll heat it up nice and toasty for you in an oven. You just have to eat it in a microwave because you couldn't finish it the first time. Screw you, body.
I should just take all that cholesterol and cheese and make my body process it.
Stop. I can't get any more hungry right now. It's only 1:30 a.m. People don't deliver here anymore.
I mean, it's fine, Jason. You can't get real pizza where you live anyways, so...
But I can get a kebab. Tafik would be jealous.
You can get a kebab. That is absolutely...
Wait, did you have one while you were here?
I did. I had one... there was like a kebab place right by the place where me, you, Uber, Joe Miller, and D-Man were drinking.
Ah, yes. I remember that night. We won't go into details, but I remember that night.
Oh, yeah. It was that night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that night. It was great. It was good stuff. So, going into Temple of Anubis now.
Always comes out here, Jason. That's the moral of that story.
I bought you a way out, but...
I know. It's fine. That shame is mine to own. I just need to own those sorts of things. But, Jason, as we move ahead here and go away from my perils in personal life, let's take a look at the defense coming out here from LCG.
Just 2 words. Dark Souls.
Oh, God. No, never again. Continue.
If you guys ever visit Cologne, if you guys are in the US or in Germany, visit Cologne, go to Meltdown Cologne, and order Dark Souls, and you will probably hate me for it, but it'll be an experience. It'll be great.
It will definitely be an experience, I can attest. But Jason, talk to me about this defense so we can change the subject. Oh my God.
Well, it's a dive defense. So LCG going to be trying to get aggressive right off the bat. As you can see them pushed up aggressively and close. They know Keller's probably going to go Widowmaker since he did it before yesterday. So yeah, trying to counter the Widowmaker, not allow Keller to be effective.
All right, and we'll see what Keller has in this Widowmaker, where Keller, of course, his specialty has been hit scan, even though he is flexing more of the projectile. And so long as he's on the Widowmaker, it frees up Sharp to still be on the Tracer. So you look at the defense is clear position to limit the effectiveness of this early Widowmaker play, but the headshot on the D.Va, incredibly important. It lets Chicken Ranch Pizza extend much further out. They don't have to worry about being engaged on, and now they're going to move to the point and just try and take advantage of this, while Keller has plenty of room to work with from the back.
Well, they're playing on the high ground again. Keller, yeah, he's actually been able to do the Shrugger's trying to deal with it. Shrugger gets a kill into Gray. He's basically 1v3. He's been able to at least take one of those supports out of the fight, as Keller's been distracted for the most part, not able to assist his own team on point. Ruby and Ninjanik trying to play very careful and very close together so they cannot be sniped down. But they've been able to do it. I think they got the first point hold for now.
Keller not really able to land much here on the Widow in the back. I think the pressure threw him a bit off his game, and so far he's come up with goose eggs right now. He had the early tank pressure, which was good, but nothing really to follow it up after, and frankly, you need more contribution from your Widow in this situation to make things work.
Well, he's been under fire at least, so it's not like he's had free shots, but he's definitely had an opportunity. Like, I agree, he needs to be hitting a lot more of these shots. And Gray, most importantly, needs to not die in like a 1v3 or 3v1 like this. Ultimate going in towards the back again, looking for Gray, looking for the Zenyatta. Him and Shrugger were trying to work in tandem, but 8's keeping him alive, which means their tanks aren't being healed, so this is easy focus down on for those players. Keller
finally able to strike blood, gets Mystic after he gets demeched, pushes Shrugger out, ends up feeling the Widow's kiss, the Widow Mine working its work as Ninjanik gonna fall. Keller, better late than never, finding his rhythm on Widowmaker towards the end, and that should be enough for the tank line to have the room they need to work with to take this first point.
I mean, that's pretty much like a replication of their match versus Envious, where Keller didn't really do much at the beginning, but then he got like 4 kills into the push that actually worked out for them. So definitely take a little bit of time to ramp up, but he got there. And now switching over to Genji is going to look to push back in. And Shrugger's going to have a blade, and Ruby switched over to Sombra, so it's going to be hard for them to be successful on this attack.
It's going to be hard indeed, and Shrugger right now close to that blade. Right now, working to the side, and this is just him trying to build up a little bit of blade for the next fight. But here comes the Valkyrie for the offense. Sharp was close to falling off the poke, has to rewind it back, but the offense here, powered by the Valkyrie, has room to move in. It's going to force the barrier out of the defense, but it's not in time. They still lose 2. Valkyrie in the sky, keeping everyone up. Sharp just builds up the pulse bomb, and everyone's still very healthy here for Chicken Ranch Pizza, and this is looking like the beginnings of a very good attack. Shrugger finally builds a blade, Jason, but doesn't really seem like it's in time.
Well, it helps when Mystic gets a double kill as well to self-destruct.
Oh.
He had the blade for a long time, but he didn't use it, and that allowed Gray to pick up his Transcendence. Aid's going to be switching for Mercy, which 100%, probably go over to Lucio. Yep, he's going to pick that one up. So he was just going for that push with the only ultimate they did have, which is the Valkyrie. And now Gray going to be going from the Zen to the Reaper, so that we saw them quite a bit, going for like the upfront triple DPS solo support kind of combo. And Shrugger has switched as well at the same time to Reaper.
My goodness, a fight that was looking so good for the offense turned on a dime by the self-destruct. EMP going to be used here early on by the defense, and they use it to convert into a kill onto Gray. Followed up by Keller, and it's interesting because you don't always see the defense come out with a Reaper here, Jason, but I think it's pretty effective on this map.
And I also like how he can stay alive. I feel like he's almost better than Genji at some points on second point because he can keep himself alive by obviously attacking, right, to heal. And then he can Wraith form to actually go run to an EMP'd health or to a hacked health pack to heal up. So it's very difficult to full out kill a Reaper unless you have like a flashbang out of a McCree.
And right now, there's no Cowboys in sight, so Reaper can roam free. Keller, though, to the back. Blade out. Looks for Lucio. Gets the second slice. Gray, though, gonna be falling in that Reaper on Reaper edginess battle early on. And Keller, just not enough support to make it work. Was trying to slice through D.Va. And it's Strugger right now, dealing the damage on this Reaper, controlling space, and I think that's a mistake by Vol to burn the self-destruct there. There's not enough of an edge for the offense. And Smurf gonna fall the Strugger as he continues to hold the line.
I almost want to say I want to see like a Doomfist out of Chicken Ranch Pizza. I don't know why. I just feel like a Doomfist would fare a little bit better. You have like more instant kill potential if you catch out like Lucio or Sombra or Trace or even Reaper. You can do some serious work. But then again, EMP will decimate a Doomfist. Probably not the best choice to go for here.
Or Roadhog. I think Roadhog is underrated
Roadhog
in his ability. Roadhog is underrated in his ability to crack last point Anubis, I feel like, where I think Reaper was underrated for a time, but Hog, you get an early pickoff, you change the course of the fight without investing ultimates. But no, they're just going to go straight in here. Not much care in the world. Sharp tries on his counterpart, gets led on a wild goose chase, but there's the barrier early on. They were able to get Ruby, who didn't get much off of the EMP. They've gotten away from the danger of the EMP, and they're up 2 players. This is very good for Chicken Ranch Pizza here so far. And now I look to Keller. Still on the Reaper, and how he does here is going to be important. Shifts away from the Death Boss, but it's too late. His team is dead around him, and Shrugger's Whirlwind of Death saves the team of LCG here when they need it most.
They're going to live to fight another day now here, LCG. I would get initial engagement out of Chicken Ranch Pizza, but the big turning point I think was Mystic getting a kill onto Smurf. Smurf uses jump to actually try to bunny hop in towards the catacombs or the back corridor, actually the back corridor of the point, and got caught by a self-destruct, which eventually started to turn things around. But now Keller's gonna have a Death Blossom soon next fight. Gray as well, who switched from Reaper over to Moira, is gonna have his Coalescence up, and he's gonna be using it from the back.
Keller just won the Reaper battle, about to get Death Blossom up as well, working to the back line. Is he gonna spin to win it right now? He's spinning. I'm not seeing the winning though, but it comes at the end. He D-Max D.Va, takes her out. The EMP might be coming into the defense, but it's not quite in time. Keller, room to work with, looking for Shrugger, and this time he's gonna fall. Ultimate Weapon, the third party in that fight, but it might be too late. The offense swarming onto the point. A huge numerical edge. They might be down Keller, Jason, but they're up everyone else.
And LCG doesn't have any ultimates to come into this next fight with. They don't have a Sound Barrier, they don't have a Death Boss, and they're switching Ultimate Weapon over to Mei just to stall for as much time as possible. This 2/3 has already been taken, 92%. They still have a minute and 30 seconds left of time. Can they potentially close out this half?
They're looking to it right now. It's going to take a miracle from the defense, and the miracle is not walking through that door. A minute 20 left on the clock for Chicken Ranch Pizza. And overall, a compelling effort here where, remember, it's Temple of Anubis. Not every team even completes the map.
Did Sharp just get super aggressive against Ultimate Tracer v Mei and force him to ice block within the catacomb? I saw the wall come up, but I also saw he was very low in HP, so I think Sharp was like distracting him, not allowing him to use that standard, I'm Mei, I can ice block on the point, you can't do crap about it.
It's possible. I mean, I didn't see that there because I was looking at the Reaper gameplay, but what I will say is that Sharp is surprisingly effective at his one-clip ability, where I'm continually shocked at Sharp surprising someone from the back and either outright one-clipping them or bringing them down to 10%, so he's going to force reactions out of people that you don't normally see.
Well, either way, I mean, it worked out for them. They got the capture with a minute 20 left, too, so, like, they didn't finish in overtime. They finished with time left and over a minute, which now means if LCG finish in overtime, if they can somehow finish, first of all, and then do it in overtime if that happens, they won't have any time. Actually, no, yeah, they won't have any time to attack the first point on the second go-around.
No, they won't. So watching this offense now in progress will be interesting to say the least. I will say is that it looks like Shrugger is giving up his projectile. Jason, I don't need to know these things. You should suffer in silence. By the way, for chat clamoring for the full details of the story, you will never get the full details, but I will say that Uber's shoes, Uber shouts, Mitch Leslie, his shoes were never the same again after that night. That's all you really need to know.
Well, it all started at Gamescom, right? When we had the Overwatch Atlantic
oh
showdown.
my god. No, we're good. We're good. That's all they get. All they get is that I've personally attacked Mitch's shoes.
I mean, they were ugly shoes to begin with, so I was fully supporting you there.
Yeah, but then he's now partnered with the guy who wears Yeezys, so, I mean, new bars have been set. But LCG gonna move their way over here, and they're not really waiting at all. They don't run the Widowmaker in the end. They swap Shrugger to the Roadhog, and they just go for this immediate assault onto the point, powered with the Orisa. And now, Chicken Ranch Pizza, let's see how they crack this encampment in their own base.
Oh, Kel's gonna get hooked in. Kel's gonna be immediately disposed of, so wait for the pick. Sitting behind those shields, and they're probably gonna make the move eventually. Now, they're obviously waiting for the Coalescence. The Ruby's at 80 or 99%. They're gonna have the support advantage pushing in.
Support advantage coming in. Sharp coming in with the cleave over the top right now. Don't see Sharp Smurf moving in with the cleave. Ends up dying. Hooked in by Shrugger, and this immediate attack on Anubis, second time we've seen it today here, Jason, and yet remarkably effective where they get the Coalescence up early and use that to push an advantage.
Yeah, Smurf kind of messed up his jump. He was trying to leap away, do some cleave drop on him, and jump out. But he missed the jump, so he actually eventually died from that. They're going to capture the point, and they're going to have a ton of time to work with into second. Are we going to see an adaptation out of the defending side now? And it looks like Gray's still sitting on Ana, 95%, so he probably wants to keep the nano boost up. And Keller, the Junkrat, only has 28% done. They have a triple DPS setup and a solo tank.
All right, and there's not a lot of chill in this offense here. They feel they have an edge with the barrier. They're just going to roll straight in. I got that Gray's going to be getting off this Ana after dropping the nano boost in a hurry. But now, LCG working their way in. They got the early pick, and that's the time to strike. They dropped the barrier, now very much invested in this fight. But guess what? Keller, he's dark, he's edgy, he's powered up by the nano boost, picks off 2, and this Reaper play should be shutting this down in favor of Chicken Ranch Pizza, and it does.
Almost makes me miss Beyblade meta. Just kidding, not. I think
No.
Mixed meta is way better than Beyblade meta.
What?
So now Keller gonna be actually switched up his position to get on the high ground here to deny anyone coming from there, so he can also drop in like a bat in the night, like Superman does. But they also have a ground search up for ultimate weapon and a self-destruct, and no guaranteed shield to stop this combo from happening.
No, not in the least, and I'm still judging you for that previous comment. I will take Reaper spinning like a top any day over the army of immortal zombies led by a witch. Keller, on the Reaper, coming up the flank, looking for his counterpart, Shrugger. Shrugger gets supported by his team, gets out of that early opening, but the damage was done. Sharp finished Keller's plate. They end up with 3 kills, and Keller just cleaving his way through with these shotguns is enough.
It's gonna be really hard for ultimate weapon to play as a Zarya here against Keller, especially like a caliber player like Keller is. His Reaper is such a hard counter to Zarya. And one thing he does really well to her is he kills her and prevents her from building up high energy. He can just eat through the shield and just chunk her down shot after shot with the Hellfire Shotgun. He's also waiting on the high ground to drop in with his Death Blossom, but there's still a D.Va there to stop him. And there's still shields as well, and they also have speed to get away from her.
Oh, this is a nice teleport. He's going to drop in and just spin. Spinning the win is Keller. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keller with 4, and he's not done yet. It's going to be 5 with the aid of Vol. It's been a long time since we've seen a big Death Blossom like that. Good stuff coming out from Keller.
Well, I guess the engagement was enough to distract the team to not get the defense matrix there in time. He was able to get through, what was those 4 kills he was able to pick up. And they invest, what, 1 ultimate into that fight? Well, technically 2 with the pulse. Working out well for them, and they get the recycle. 4 minutes left.
This just reminds me of old school Overwatch. Used to see Reaper played on this point like this all the time. Used to see Death Blossom get kills with regularity, and don't see that too often in the age of D.Va, but Keller finding a way through the roadblocks of modern Overwatch to make Reaper shine here. This time, though, you see the offense take a different route. They move through the left. The setup is there, and which means Keller's ambush point will be different as well. And it's going to begin. He just goes straight into it. But here comes
the Graviton! Oh, ultimate weapon missed the Graviton. He whiffed it. He was trying to go for a grade. He hit the wall behind the point, catching no one. And Vol's able to get an initial kill to Chrono, though the grade will fall. Yes, they will lose out a little bit of healing, but they still have the damage there. They have the respawn advantage, and that was such a missed opportunity. That was almost, what, 2 minutes of time waiting to use the grab, and then when it came out, it did, well, it missed.
All this anticipation, Jason, and no payoff whatsoever. And I will note, we do finally have a swap up, Gray. no longer on the Ana, going to the Sombra. So a bit of a change in tempo here for the defense.
I'm out of here.
Oh man, that is like the worst, viewer blue balls ever. Of like that 2 minutes of build up to turn into nothing. Ultimate's gonna switch over to McCree though to deal with Keller on the Reaper, and they still have the Death Blossom out of Sugar, so they still have a chance to actually win this fight. It's just whether or not they can get in cleanly, because they've been struggling. Every time they push in, they get constant attack from the back. Crazy to get flashbang, will translocate out. They're still taking a hell of a lot of damage as they try to push in towards point.
And that means there's a bit of a alert here where Keller has to be more careful, knows there's a McCree, takes it, oh, McCree, watch your back, and he did! He found him! It didn't matter! He punishes Keller from the back line, and Shrugger spins to win on his own. What a reaction from Ultima Wep there. I thought for sure Keller had his number, and instead it's LCG working the Kree swap. It's a McCree Reaper setup that pierces through this defense of Chicken Ranch Pizza.
The McCreeper, I guess we can now call it here. Keller's trying to push in. They have the ability to contest. He's gonna get on the high ground. He has his Death Blossom. He can jump back, and Mystic has to be so careful with his. Oh no! He used the self-destruct at the wrong time, but Keller won't get a single kill. He'll die to self-destruct himself instead.
Keller blown to pieces here. LCG turning up the pressure, putting on the submission move here as Shrugger working around the point. He might get EMP'd, but an EMP doesn't matter if you don't have the fall through. And this is the Reaper show coming in from Shrugger. Every kill going his way. Doesn't care about Winston being Primal Rage. He gets knocked to the ground by a Shadow for good measure. And every kill still going LCG's way as once more Shrugger starts spinning, does his work, and they're almost there, Jason.
That's 2 kills though. The respawns are going to be there. Yes, they have the max amount of time on respawn, but they get 2 quick frags, 3 with Chronodota going down. They're running out of men here for LCG, but they only need a couple more percent to finish this off, and they're just barely able to do it. 8 seconds quicker. That could have been a completely different story if maybe one more frag came in for that defending side of Chicken Ranch Pizza.
Well, Jason, we've played 2 rounds of Overwatch here, and at the end of it, it's really even between both teams. There's not a lick of difference in actuality. 8 seconds doesn't mean much in the game of Overwatch. It probably won't mean much here. I'm open to being wrong, but for me, this is a fully reset game.
Well, we could see potential draw here on Temple of Anubis. We could be going to one of the CP maps that we have set up for it, which I believe is just randomly chosen, if I remember the rules correctly. But a minute and a half, I mean, we saw the great attack out of LCG and how it worked out for them. I wonder if they're going to go the same route yet again. And if they do, will Chicken Ranch Pizza have a counter to it for that Orisa, tank heavy setup, get that Coalescence set up for, or built up for Ruby really quickly?
I'll tell you what the answer is. I think the answer is you probably run Reaper early on, even though it's sort of a blind pick that could backfire pretty heavily, because if they run something more traditional, the Reaper's kind of out of luck. But if they do try and run that, close quarters, box out the other team strategy, if you have a Reaper just hiding there waiting to say hi, it can actually work out really well. So they can gamble and run a Reaper next time they're on defense.
Well, we'll see in about a minute and a half time. Well, potentially a minute and a half time, because if they capture this first point, they get that extra 30 seconds, then we could see some real progress onto second. You can see Shrugger, again, set up, waiting for them to come towards high ground with that Genji. They're actually coming in a little bit slow here, take a lot of damage. Sharp chunk for the 1v1. He gets on top of the point, and his team is going to be there. The recall going to come out of Ultimate Whip to clear himself out of danger. And Shrugger's going to get the kill into Keller.
Shrugger was well positioned, punishes Keller without putting himself in too much of harm's way. Chicken Ranch Pizza now going to have to do this without the pressure of a Widowmaker. Sharp fighting almost a 1v3 on the bottom. Doesn't have much in the way of support. Getting attacked from all ends, has to back out. Now, as they back out, they lose Smurf. It's not a clean disengage. It's going to delay them even more. The defense, sensing blood in the water, going to move a little bit deeper, and they take out Gray as well. And now, they only need to hold for another 30 seconds, Jason.
Well, Sharp's about to have his pulse spawn. They're still sticking with the Widowmaker, though. Keller's going to get set up, but Keller's not going to have an easy opportunity to hit anyone. Look how they're playing. They're sitting on towards this right-hand side when you come in from, or towards the point. They're not giving him a chance. They're not giving him the line of sight to shoot with.
It's the anti-Widow formation, and it works really well. It makes Keller have to expose himself in a rougher position where he is more vulnerable. And oh, don't tell him that. Finds Ultima Wep. A tough shot completed. And Shrugger, gonna get the old Razzle Dazzle here. Steps in the Venomine, low HP. Gets the health pack in time, but while he's fighting Keller, he's not helping retake the point where they're already down a player. And Shrugger gets domed in the head. Keller wins the battle, and now Chicken Ranch Pizza looking to win the war.
And it was a great job by Chronodota to actually get a clean kill onto Gray, because A dropped down and Gray wasn't with him, so they were separated both supports, and he actually picked up the kill, prevented Transcendence, but now pushed into the snow. You're going to have a Primal Rage, you're gonna have a Soundbreaker, you're gonna have a Transcendence, you're gonna have a lot of ultimates used into this push. Keller most likely, I would assume, gonna switch. There's got 30 seconds left to do it. And Shrugger's getting close to the blade. There's a lot of ultimates coming up for both teams because of how long that fight was drawn out. It's honestly anyone's game. We could see some real progress, or we could see a shutout on the second point.
I'll note here, Keller has swapped to the Reaper, so no more Widow play in action. Shrugger, Dragon Blade up. He was feeling it, doesn't immediately blade, holds his time and almost gets taken down. He was 19 HP before the barrier hits, and guess what? He's dead anyways. It was terrible positioning for Shrugger when they needed a good blade, and now you've let Keller walk his way onto your point as a Reaper. The self-destruct, however, might have done enough. Takes down 2. Keller's still in this fight, but under pressure, doesn't have enough in his way. We'll be able to wait for him now and look for the tanks, but I just think there's too many people dead here, Jason.
Oh, good job, though, by Smurf to knock away Shrugger so he couldn't go for the kill on Keller, but Ultimate will be there. Vol is going to be desuited by the Pulse, and A is just trying to go on to distract as long as possible, maybe try to keep it contested. But no progress is going to be given to Chicken Ranch Pizza on the second point, but they did capture first. So now the ball is in the court of LCG. If they can, well, they have to take this first point.
All right, and we'll see just what LCG does. But here's the thing for LCG is that their first point attack before, this sort of cheating heavy tank setup where you figure the other team's not going to be able to do it, cheating the way that just like the other teams aren't prepared for it. We'll see how the defense deals with it. And I think, again, if your team is running this regularly, I do think you sort of have to go, maybe we sort of take a gamble ourselves, we run a Reaper or something, because they have no reason to change this, Jason. It's been effective for them all day long, and you see a wall of meat right now setting up for this attack.
Well, worst case scenario, right? If you do get the Reaper on first point, worst case scenario, they run a comp that doesn't allow Reaper to do well, and you lose the first point. But then you're at like a most likely draw attempt, because then you have a Reaper who's already built up some ult percent from the first initial like fight. Best case scenario, you play the Reaper and then play the same comp against it, and you win the fight and you hold first point. Even if you lose first point after that, you still have your ultimate almost ready to go, so you would eventually put up a hold on second point, assuming everything went the correct order. So I don't think it's technically like a win-win situation, or like a draw-draw situation, if anything, with the potential to win if you do go the Reaper.
It's true, and it sort of negates some of the downsides, but there is no Reaper in play. There is a big wall of bodies working their way to the point, and we know where they're going. They're just going directly to this archway right now. And they get in uncontested. Good HP to all of them. And the problem here, Jason, is that even if you layer in plenty of damage,
just don't attack them. Literally, just don't hit them. Don't give Ruby a chance.
Ruby's just building up own here. If you stop attacking them, they're not going to be able to coalescence, but they go out before the coalescence is ready. They're trying to force the issue, and they do. They find Gray. The hook-in is effective. 2 quick kills for this meaty attack, and this is, well, not quite as many defining as you might think. They do take down 2, and the defense can fight this 4-on-4. But now that Smurf has fallen,
Keller's zoning them off. Keller is zoning them off the point with these grenades. He's able to get a kill on the Mystic before Reese can come back in. Aid's going to be, he used Tire just before. He's at 50%. Sharp gets a kill on a Ruby. They can potentially hold this EV.
They're doing really well right now, and Keller on fire for good reason. And that's sort of the flip side here. If you don't deal with the Junkrat, even though he's feeding you coalescence, he's still doing a lot of damage. And for now, Chicken Ranch Pizza, it looks like they might be holding, as another tire is going to be coming up here for Keller. Takes a look to the side, hasn't used it here just yet, and this could be the good game tire. Doesn't quite hit what he's looking for, but doesn't matter, as Gray and Sharp got the cleanup.
That was insane. Like, he killed Ninja Nick while he was trying to go into the room to stay safe, and then used the tire at the same moment. So he kills him, gets a tire up, stops the diva from being in his face, and they hold it. They work out well. Somehow they did it, and I was so worried for them because Chrono Dota got a great pull-off onto Volt and Gray, so they got the Zen and the Soldier down, and they got really quick kills onto that. But if Keller didn't hit that tire, if he didn't get dislodged from that position, or if he was dislodged from that position, then that would never have been a hold for Chicken Ranch Pizza. Keller really saving his team.
Nice stuff from Keller, but credit where credit is due to LCG. They might be knocked out of the tournament, but they put on a show. But guys, there is urgent needs for a break, so we're going to be taking that quick break, and when we come back, more Overwatch action will be underway.